Oh man. Oh, I did mean to send you. Do you remember that video I sent of Tyler Garca with the long, luscious hair, and he was talking about teeth?
Oh yeah.
So not all of that was a bit. In a subsequent Instagram video, he
What?
pulled out it was like a beautiful, like curio drawer, not a curio cabinet, like a curio drawer that he stores under his bed, and he pulls it out, and like a lock of his hair is in there, vacuum sealed.
Okay.
A lock of his boyfriend's hair is in there, vacuum sealed. His boyfriend went through a vacuum sealing phase, is why
he also owns a million plants.
I know, I love it. That's why I started following him, and then later learned that he was funny.
Well, I watched because his boyfriend's the one who has all the plants, right?
Yeah, Jihao.
Yeah.
He opens this curio drawer, and he's got like a little packet of teeth, and he like pours it into his hand, and he's like, I've got like 6 teeth, only some of them are mine, and then he just puts them back in. What?
I did find the small bottle that I have a few of Magnolia's puppy teeth in the other day and I was like, oh, I kept some of these puppy teeth. Good for me.
You've got to make like you've got to put them on a pedestal. You need to get like a little pedestal.
Ooh, yeah.
Put your teeth on there. Maybe like a glass cloche over
it.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
Cloche worthy.
Say it? Cloche? Is that
it's the only way I want to hear it. Somebody says clotch. Get out of here.
Yeah, that's gross. That's for sure not right.
Yeah.
Is it French? Is it like a lot of
cloch? Cloch. Because French sounds a lot like a bad Scottish accent, I guess.
I guess if it were French, it would be like
it would be cloche.
Like you just wouldn't say the
cloche.
You'd like leave letters out.
Oh, right? Yeah, you just say clo.
Clo.
Hey, everybody, this is Debut Buddies. It's a fortnightly podcast about firsts. And we're at the 40, the 30, the 10, the 5. Touchdown. On this episode, we're talking about the first superb owl. That's right. You all know that the Philadelphia Eagles and Kansas City Chiefs played each other in Super Bowl 57, and the cut in post-editing won that game in an astonishing victory.
Oh, that's right. Should we...
Is it going to be astonishing, or is it going to be close? In a nail-biting finish.
Yeah, okay. Let's do a couple of more takes. Chelsea, give me a
in a lackluster conclusion.
In a tragic, blood-drenched melee.
Oh, yeah. In a abysmal show of patriotism.
To a surprisingly empty stadium.
Oh, God. Where did the people go? Where did they go?
Several people were raptured at Super Bowl 57.
Man, that would be a great ending.
That would be so dope.
Leaving only their clothing because heaven wants you nude.
Well, it's Terminator rules.
Yeah, that's fair. You arrive in heaven naked and curled up in a ball.
Kneeling. Yeah.
A sphere of intense energy cutting through the clouds all around you.
I don't see how it could go any other way.
No, that's just science. It's
that's
science.
Revelations, right? That's what it says specifically.
Yep.
Yeah. Full on.
Mark of the Beast, Terminator.
And I heard that that's coming because of Sam Smith's performance at the Grammys. So,
oh yeah,
edge of my seat.
Yep,
looking forward to it. Get that popcorn ready.
Anytime somebody puts novelty plastic horns on a red top hat, the end times are near, people.
Personally, I like it.
This is kind of fun. I have a balance due to the state of Delaware in the amount of $666.
Hail
Oh.
Satan!
Right?
Not even
Because
mad
I've been
with
living
that.
deliciously.
You should contest it though.
Oh yeah, every cent. But on this
should we wrap
episode,
up this intro? Okay.
yeah, but on this episode, we're going to be talking about the first Super Bowl ever. That would be Super Bowl I from 1967, featuring the Kansas City Chiefs. Weird.
Ugh.
They also just played in the recent present day Super Bowl.
And we are sticking with that name.
LVII.
We're sticking with it, I guess.
Yeah.
It's Kansas
We're
City.
committed to that name.
Because
Yeah.
they're chiefs of the executive office. Right?
Is that what it is?
Wow.
Yeah, it's totally not an appropriative name that should be concerning to
Okay.
anyone. And
Okay.
there's no reason. I'm sure it'll never change. They play the Green Bay Packers.
Wait, hold on. What's a Packer? Is this offensive too?
Oh no! I know what this is.
You'll
Sorry,
know what
this
it
is
is.
fun because I understand very little about football or anything that has to do with football, but I do know what this is. So
Okay.
originally, when the name, they were there was another word, but a meat packing plant was the people who owned the team, and they were the something Packers, and then they just became the Green Bay Packers eventually.
Okay. I'll accept that then.
So meat packers, because there was a lot of, because are they the cheese? No, are the cheese?
Yeah, they are. They
They're
were the
Cheese heads in
Yeah.
Wisconsin, yeah.
Okay, so I was like, it's the cheese one, but I was like, cheese packers. I was like, is that a thing? And then had to do some research, and nope, meat packers.
So
The more
pretty
you know.
clearly, we are football experts.
This is gonna be a fun one,
Love
guys.
to throw around the old pigskin.
Just like in the
gridiron,
room. That
etc.
that one scene in The Room. You know the
Wait,
movie The
I haven't
Room?
The sad one.
No, the Tommy Wiseau one, not the
Oh.
Brie Larson Room. The
Yeah,
Room.
that's the one I thought. That one was sad.
They
That
they
one was
play
real
catch
sad.
The other
on
one
the roof of the
with
building.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
no, that's his name. Tom. Okay, Tommy's the name. What's the other? Hey, Mark. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Mark.
I did
I'm
not
there,
hit her.
I'm there.
Yeah. You're tearing me apart, Lisa.
Beautiful movie.
That's what he
Beautiful
says. And then you get to see his butt a lot. Football. So the first time ever we have Super Bowl I, 1967. It's played in the LA Coliseum, one of the most gorgeous existing stadiums ever. You got
Oh, it's
cool
still-
columns.
Have you been there?
No, I wish.
Okay.
But it's beautiful. I wish all of our things had that kind of architectural give a shit, but very few do. And you got the Green Bay Packers. You got the Kansas City Chiefs. The Packers represent the National Football League at the time. The Chiefs represent the American Football League, the AFL. These later change and become the NFC and the AFC under the single NFL when the two leagues merge. The Chiefs are part of the roustabout little baby league. They're coming in. They're coming in hot.
So are they still part of the AFC?
They are, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in the same division as the Denver Broncos, your current home football team.
I have muted the word Broncos on Denver on Twitter because I could not care less. Also Nuggets. Also Jokic.
Oh
Is
man,
he a
the
Nugget?
Nugget-
What's that?
yeah,
That's a
Jokic.
person?
That's
It's
what-
spelled it's
Oh.
Jokic. Yeah.
Well, I muted
Nikola
it, so
Jokic.
I don't know.
Hey, the Nuggets are having a really good year. They are a
I know
fantastic
that's sort
basketball
of why I
team.
had to mute it because people would not shut the fuck up.
Good for them.
They have so little. we have
Yeah,
so
I
little.
mean,
I like the
I
name.
mean, God bless.
So football. So let's just talk about this game to the extent that we're able, because there is a two and a half hour long YouTube of the game, but it features very little actual footage and mostly just the booth announcers speaking with occasional clips from the telecast coming through. But one of the first things you see as they're introducing the LA Coliseum is the fact that everybody is so 60s, it's adorable. You got your
I
Mhm.
love it. My very first note is, dude, the 60s fashions in this audience fucking rule. Like everybody looks great. I was so stoked. And then they, cut to the football and I was like, ugh, okay.
Well, and we also see a young Kirk Douglas in the crowd.
What?
Like
I
he
didn't.
is prominently shown like quickly. They don't even remark on him, but he's right there in the crowd, chin dimple and all. Ben-Hur or whatever. Was he in Ben-Hur? Spartacus?
Sure.
Spartacus. Was he in Spartacus?
He's one of them.
Oh no.
Yeah, he did. Swords and sandals. Having a great time.
Gladiator.
He was here. He was at
then
this.
he's in the Coliseum. Okay.
It's
Cute.
Spartacus.
Yeah. They didn't make him fight at halftime because we didn't do halftime fights until the future, when that will be the only form of entertainment.
Oh, okay. Wait, I was like, do they do halftime fights? Have I missed this? Oh my god.
No. But soon.
Yeah, any minute now.
Is it going to be like those slap fights? Isn't that a big thing right now? Slapping?
Slap fights are big right now.
Yeah, that's the new UFC. What is it? Dana White? Is that the guy who owns UFC? Is now put his money behind slaps, which is not a good idea for him, but like it's slap fighting. It's just people with their hands behind their back getting slapped really hard, which is much like football.
Oh, you
creating a
just
bunch
stand
of
there and take
traumatic
one and
brain
then you get to
injuries.
trade it?
Yeah. If you continue to stay upright, and a lot of them do not,
Yeah.
Huh.
it is scary and terrifying. Sorry. Let's go back to
Okay.
funny stuff.
Yes, the funniness of late 60s traumatic brain injuries.
Yeah.
But so they talk about at the top of this how much the players make if they win. They're talking about the economics of this as yet untested football championship game. Each of the winning players gets $15,000. Now, I did the conversion.
Oh man, I was gonna do the conversion. This was gonna be my angle.
Do
Do
it.
the conversion.
Do
Do the
it.
conversion.
But then I feel like I'm gonna talk about this for an hour because of the fact that I went into a rabbit hole on this because it made me the angriest I've ever been in my life. So they got 15,000 way back when. The inflation is $131,080.85. I don't know. That's just guesstimate. And now they get paid $150,000 for winning. And we have to talk about ticket prices. Let's talk about
my
ticket
God.
prices.
Ticket
Oh,
prices.
yeah.
Ticket prices.
Oh my God.
$12.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Nate, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to steal this from you.
You good? No, you're good.
It's all I've got. I know nothing about football.
I was
and
just
I
going to
do a
share
lot
what
of
the losers
inflation.
got.
Oh
for
shit! What
payment
did they
also.
get?
Like
I didn't
half.
pay
The
any
losing
attention to
players
them.
got $7,500.
Oh, okay.
They got half as much as the winning team, which is still
Yep.
75K roughly with inflation. So,
Mhm.
I mean, a good chunk of money
It's a lot.
back
Yes.
then. It's a good chunk of money, considering that
For
they're not paid
sure.
very much anyway. But yeah, let's go back to ticket prices.
Wait,
So let's
hold
go
on.
to
That
ticket-
ratio is still the same today. It's still
Yes.
like winners
Yeah.
get and
Exactly.
then losers half.
Yeah.
Sorry, losers? Yeah.
I don't know if
I'm
losers
committing
get
to it.
half. I'm sorry.
No,
When I was
they
talking about
do. They
ratios, I
get
was
they
talking
get
about inflation.
roughly half. Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay, sorry,
inflation,
you
you
go
get
on.
like it's about 114%. So they get a little bit of a bump to what they get as a winner. And the ticket price is $12. Inflation should make it around $104. What is the average price of a ticket? What is the average price of a ticket, guys?
It's like almost 10K.
It is. It is
Yeah.
almost 10K. And
Yeah.
these fuckers are still getting paid peanuts. And then I was just going to rant about capitalism, but we should talk about the game, I guess.
I've got a lot of capitalism notes.
In
my notes.
fairness, like the players get paid quite a bit more salary wise than they used
Yes.
to.
Salary wise.
That is
yeah.
But there is a huge disparity between players who are, on the offensive line versus a quarterback or
Mhm.
or a marquee wide receiver or running back, right? Like in football, they call them skills players as the people who do like the running and catching the ball.
Mhm.
Quarterbacks are their own category. And then everybody else is sort of paid like, it depends. The league minimum, I think, is 250,000 or 300,000. So
Oh.
if you've played football for like 4 years and you're good enough to make a team, but you're not flashy and nobody wants to pay you a lot of money, you make that.
Okay.
This is
But there are people who make
but
18
it's still
to 20 million a
but the
year.
amount of revenue that comes in, even
yeah.
if everyone made 18 to 20 million a year, it still would not even come close to the amount of money they get. And that I can't figure out who. I guess team owners get all of the money. They get most of the money. I don't know. Somebody gets a fuck ton of money, and I was just shocked at the amount because the stadiums aren't paid for by them. They get to play at them for free, and they're
Mhm.
usually paid for by taxpayer dollars. And that made
What
me
the fuck?
furious. At least a good percentage of them are paid from taxpayer dollars because you have the promise of bringing in revenue
Yeah,
to
most of
the
the
to the
time.
city.
Yeah, most of the time the ownerships will push for like they'll pay 25% and the city
Mhm.
pays 75% of the construction of a stadium. Because of that, they argue like, oh, well, this will invigorate a business district.
And
And
there's also been like studies that have shown that it does not do as high of revenue as it says, and taxpayers are like left on the hook because the amount of money that the stadium costs and the amount that the revenue comes in doesn't necessarily equate to that.
and the businesses that they bring in are usually restaurants and bars and things that can be
Yes.
extremely high turnover anyway. So
Right.
Yeah.
your economic boon is not really there. You just create like a point of churn around a very
Mhm.
expensive boondoggle.
Yeah, and I heard, and one of the, and I watched a video by a Business Insider, but it talked about the substitution effect, the crowding out effect, and leakage. But the substitution effect is just that everyone places their money into that one time. So it looks like you have an inflation in that time, but then you have less money throughout the year that's spent in that area because all that money was spent during that one time. And like the crowding out effect is like normally they would have 80% of their hotels sold and they go to 100% because of the Super Bowl, but it's only a 20% difference. But whenever the committees try to sell these to cities, they count all 100% for it, even though they'd
Oh,
still, it's just like an offset of it. And then leakage is that they like super inflate the cost of everything during this time, but it's not usually given as bonuses to the people that work there or to the
no.
city. It's just given to the corporation. So it's super not helpful. And it just made me very angry. And I just kept reading it and I was trying to figure out where all the money was going because I was like, yeah, I know that some players get paid a lot, but they also the and the like they had like a 153-page bid book where they don't pay for anything, they don't pay for taxes, they don't pay for food. Like most of the stuff in order for someone to go play there, everyone who's associated with it doesn't have to pay for anything, gets everything paid for, and they get everything top of the line. And that's where I got like even more frustrated. They even got golf carts, and then they said no tax, and then they don't pay for the stadium that they use. And then on top of that, what was the other part that made me furious? Oh yeah, halftime show. The halftime show pays to play. So all of the artists that play at the halftime show pay to be able to sing at the
What?
halftime show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so much
What?
money. So much money gets thrown at this. And it's like it made me sad that they still only get 150,000 for winning. Wait, no, that's right. Yeah, that's the number.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, there's a reason that all of the economics of football, like when the Colin Kaepernick stuff was happening in full pitch, that
Mm-hmm.
everyone was talking about, and this is still a reason why I don't really watch football anymore. Like I quit watching football around the time when several players like beat the shit out of women they were dating on video, and then the
Yeah, that
NFL
was
was
not
like,
good.
well, that's 4 games, you can't play, and it's like, but there's
Right.
like it's a very it's kind of plantation economics on one hand, and on the other
Mm,
hand, it's just everything that's wrong with corporate America. I mean, the National Football League is a 501(c)(3) nonprofit
Jesus
collective of
Christ.
teams.
I did
Oh
not
my
So
know that.
God.
the money that the NFL makes isn't taxed the way that it would
Oh
be
my
if they were
God.
like a mega corporation.
I'm
And that's
so upset.
Which is what they
fucking
are.
crazy. Yeah. Oh
So
yeah. Yeah.
upset.
Yeah.
I thought that I had riled myself up doing research, but we're like 10 minutes in and I'm already infinitely more mad.
Sorry, I didn't mean it. I was like, I'm gonna say this for the end. We're gonna have a fun talk about football, and then I'm just gonna talk about how this money made me rage and how I just got it because I was like, oh, and then I like tried to justify it a couple times because that's what you do whenever you're trying to convince yourself that people are not doing bad things.
Oh,
But like I was like, oh, they probably use it to pay everyone throughout the year. And I was like, okay, maybe it's spread out throughout the year. But no, their TV contracts are absurd and those pay for them. Like it doesn't compute. And some people are just getting a ton of money and taking a lot of advantage of cities, of communities, of players. And it just makes me sad.
Oh yeah, no, the way that most of it works is that they do revenue sharing within the league. So
Mm-hmm.
the a lot of this money that they take in gets distributed so that the Broncos can have some money, but maybe a team like the New England Patriots that might have a larger viewing audience. I mean, the Broncos are a bad example because the Broncos are actually pretty big deal, but the Jacksonville Jaguars, maybe smaller cable audience. So they don't bring in as much money on their own. And they might also just be a bad team, so they don't have a lot of ticket sales. But all these other teams end up making a lot of money, and all that kind of TV deal and all these other things kind of go into a pot, and then they share tips, right? Conceptually.
But like, is it like weighted? Like if you're a smaller team, you get less of the pot, or because it's not an equal cut?
No, yeah, they generally always package it as this is a way to create parity in the league so that teams that don't make as much money can still be competitive. But again, like, to go back to what Chelsea said about, every place has to pay for their stadium and all these things, like, part of the deal is that they're giving you like, hey, your team will kind of be competitive, but also if your team's not competitive for very long, your owners might decide to move the team, and then they basically extort you into building them a $100 billion stadium so that you keep a team that you love because you have an irrational passion for a group of people who changes every 2 to 3 years, and the cycle continues. It's really weird. And it's really weird that it starts with something that was this, where it's like $6 to $12 tickets to go see something that no one had ever done before. And this seems so innocuous. Like, watching this broadcast, I mean, to jump away from capitalism for a moment to the beautiful excitement that is Bell Labs. We have
this part was
jetpack men who open this game. They jetpack into the stadium, or at least they jetpack briefly around the stadium, and then they land and shake hands at the 50-yard line.
Beautiful.
What?
And then they release 4,000 pigeons.
Yeah, pigeons.
I missed the pigeon memo. Okay.
Yeah. Lots and lots of pigeons. The jetpacks that the two gentlemen are wearing is called the Bell Rocket Belt, which was invented by Bell Aerosystems. It uses hydrogen peroxide as a propellant, and you basically have like a 50-pound backpack of H2O2 on your back, and it gives you 21 seconds of sustained flight.
Oh my God.
So this was developed in the early 60s. Bell went to like the Air Force and the Army and said like, hey, we've got this really great invention. And they were like, I think they got 18 seconds out of it in that one. And they were like, well, this really isn't going to work. You want a soldier to walk in with 50 pounds of liquid on his back and fly for 20 seconds, and then he has to drop this incredibly expensive thing to do anything.
It's intimidating for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, look,
dress him up as something scary and then put him in the air. Yeah, people would back down.
You had 100 guys doing that. I mean, it's the premise of the film The Rocketeer, the idea that what if the Nazis got jetpacks and how scary that would be. And yeah, it would be scary. But yeah, so the rocket pack turns the hydrogen peroxide into superheated steam, and it's like 740 degrees Celsius. And then they did all sorts of testing so that it points the right direction, so that nobody gets burnt. It basically turns into oxygen and water immediately upon exiting the pack. Okay. So there's no pollution aspect to it.
That's impressive.
And they tested it around Dulles Airport, which is near DC. It was also used in the 1965 James Bond film Thunderball, where James Bond flies with this very same rocket belt.
Okay, so wait, this wasn't even like a premiere of new technology at the Super Bowl. Like, these guys in jetpacks came out and everybody in the audience was like, James Bond did it.
Yeah, well, it was like, okay, one,
and
probably...
he was wearing a little short onesie. It was cuter. It was funnier.
He was wearing a terry cloth romper.
Yeah.
No, I figure this is one of those things where it's like only maybe 20,000 people were able to see James Bond in the theater because people didn't have theater access, but also they put incredible amounts of money into creating these things, and it was like, hey, look, we got to bring those out again for another go round.
Wait, was this the one that was owned by Disney? Like, Disney put it on? Is that right? Am I making this up?
It wasn't Disney that put it on, but the guy who like orchestrated the halftime show he had worked for Disney on like
Oh, okay.
doing big events. Or I might not be right about doing big events, but the guy who did the halftime show had Disney ties.
Okay.
And the reason I remember that is because I looked up what else was happening around this time. So Super Bowl I happened like early January 67.
Mhm.
So I looked up what had been going on in 66 just to see. And Walt Disney died that year. And
Oh,
also the first person to like cryonically freeze themselves
Uh-huh.
was
for
Walt Disney?
it was not Walt Disney, it was
Oh.
some other guy, but I was like, there's that rumor that Walt Disney cryonically froze himself to be resuscitated later. So like, what was going on in 1966? Things were crazy. Jetpacks at the Super Bowl, heads frozen, and I don't know. What do you
Sounds
freeze
great.
them in? What do you freeze them in? I
Liquid
don't know. You
nitrogen or
flash
something?
freeze
I
I
them.
don't
think
know.
that's what. Oh,
Yeah.
flash freeze.
No, it can't be liquid. Can it
I
be?
Well, I don't
I
know.
don't
I guess it
know.
would probably shatter, right? That seems like
Yeah,
a
they'd
bad
be
thing
so
because liquid nitrogen is
fragile.
bad for living tissue. Yeah, this is it. Like Vietnam is happening. There's
Vietnam is
like,
mad
Yeah.
happening.
yeah,
Yeah.
you got a lot of stuff going on where the Super Bowl is this reaction sort of. It's really this kind of apolitical center of the line. Hey, we're very nice, and there's a whole lot of America
Yeah.
imagery to the stuff the marching band does, including they make the shape of the country America of the
Yeah.
lower 48, right? Like,
Well, and even the stadium, like you see football today, and it's nothing but ads everywhere, all the
Oh,
way
yeah.
around. And in this stadium, it's like those old fashioned, it's like American flag regalia, but it's not the flag, it's not the square one. It's that like
It's
the bunting.
it's the like
Oh,
semicircle
yeah,
Yeah.
little boys. Yeah, I was like, wow, okay, this looks like a county fair. What are we
yeah.
doing?
Well, we're gonna throw
Everything.
around the prized pig skin
Yeah,
here
I
at the
guess
county fair,
so.
right? It's a pig
Uh,
fair.
yeah, blue ribbon,
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
pig, etc.
um, from a football standpoint, I thought it was interesting that they remarked about how they use two different balls.
Oh.
What?
So the AFL and the NFL used different sized footballs.
Okay.
So they said at the beginning of the game that like, hey, because they're accustomed to this, when the AFL team is on the field, they're going to use the AFL ball, and when the NFL team is on offense, they're going to use the NFL ball.
Oh, interesting. I did not hear that. I didn't watch the 2.5 hour one.
No, neither did
I watched
I was
the
never going to
20
watch
minute clip show.
that. I did not
I
even finish the
committed to
20-minute
watching
clip
it
show.
at 2x speed. So the announcers were very fast in talking about how the Super Bowl was the most exciting event that had ever happened in the 1960s.
So I did read a little bit about that footage, though. Did you guys dig into this? It was sort of interesting. So, back when this was recorded, so first of all, it was like simulcast on two different stations. What was it? It was like, but they had different announcers, right? They had their own station announcers, and that doesn't happen anymore. And so both stations like recorded it, but this was back in film. They like were recording on actual film, which is very expensive. I think I saw that it was like multiple hundreds of dollars like per hour or per minute or something. Like it was something crazy.
This has got to
so,
be like what, like this a 2.5 hour thing has got to be like 6 reels long.
Yeah,
in
it was
film. Like that's
it
a
was
lot of
crazy
film.
expensive. And at the time, it was like super common to just like wipe your footage and re-record something on it. You like didn't keep years and years and years and gigs and gigs and gigs of storage like we do today. And so these stations just like they just cleared it. They were like, we've got to reuse it. Like they didn't know that the Super Bowl was going to be like crazy and this was going to be like a huge historic event. And so
with those jetpacks, how could they not know?
Well, because they were in bond. They were like, it's already been captured.
Unless someone films a new Bond film over that one.
Oh God.
Well, okay, that's fine. No.
And so they were like piecing together footage from stuff that people found Like years later, people were like, oh, I recorded this section on my home video. And so they like stitched things together. And I think I couldn't get an answer on this. All of the documentation I saw was that I forget which station has the most full version of it. But that they're like super protective of it and they haven't like released it anywhere.
Oh.
So I was like, well, then what is this on YouTube? Like, is this like a fan what do you call them? Like a fan video,
like a fan, a supercut, a fan.
Yeah, is this
Yeah, that's
essentially
it.
like a supercut, or is this what the like station put together? I don't know, but I thought that was interesting. It made me think of like how Broadway always records their musicals and then they like stick them in a vault and they're like, nobody could ever watch it.
Yeah.
Well, why did we record it? Haven't you heard how expensive film is?
It was the only means of conveyance.
I guess.
So was this the first found footage?
Yeah, this is the first found footage. Yeah.
That's amazing. Beating out Apollo 15, which is the horror movie that is the Apollo one.
The one
you guys gonna watch that for your show? You gonna do a space month?
There's a found footage one in the space.
Yeah, there's like an Apollo 15, I think, where something's on the moon.
That's not found footage though. Is it 13? I feel like it might be 13.
Hello.
Well, 13 is the Tom Hanks one.
11? No. Wait.
11
went to the moon.
11's Neil Armstrong.
Okay.
And Buzz.
18.
And third.
Apollo 18. There you go. Yep. Just something to think about. Just something to think about for Never Show the Monster.
And it's found
really
footage?
excellent podcast.
Sorry, in this movie we found footage on the moon?
Yeah. That is the
where else would
concept
you
of the
find
movie.
it?
Yeah. It's just floating around up there.
It's just 2 hours of Leica playing Fetch alone.
Aw. I would actually watch that though.
Oh,
she
died in space.
Yeah. I mean, we probably all will. In a way, we all do. Floating on a marble.
Oh, yeah.
For the home listener, we weren't just ignoring Nate. I feel like we both made faces and like appreciated the thought.
Yeah. We took a second. There
was a dramatic pause. It was good. Yeah. So I mean, otherwise, this is a pretty like boring football game. All the football that was available to watch wasn't that exciting. It's a lot of running. The game itself doesn't look particularly changed. I mean, it was definitely slower than it is now, as most recent football I've watched.
Yeah, I was reading that like the average number of points scored per game has just been trending upwards over time. So like more and more action is occurring over time.
Yeah, I mean, and a guy like had a heart attack on the field like to this last season.
Yeah.
You mentioned
that was hard.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier when you sort of stopped watching football because of all of the domestic violence.
Yeah.
I can remember. So I like never watched football, but I can remember exactly when I got radicalized against football. And this was years ago. I was in an airport. I wasn't even like at home. And all of the TVs in the bar kept like replaying the same clip, and it was of that football player who was having a seizure on the field. And they just played it over and over and over again. And I was like, can we stop? Like, we know, stop showing it. Like, and also stop playing the game. Like, why are we doing this still? Yeah, it was that I was like, we can't do this anymore. And then when this guy had a heart attack, I was like, oh no. And then, okay, is this real? I kept seeing that when he like woke up in the hospital, when he was still like intubated, he like wrote down who won.
Yeah, I heard that story too. I'm not sure, but I mean, it certainly made the rounds. He said, "Did we win?" or something like that.
Regardless of whether or not that's true, the fact that it's so believable,
is not.
That's gross.
The fact that it's also believably the kind of story that a late stage capitalistic media sort of machine would concoct to make you feel okay about the thing. Like, oh, it's
Right.
okay. He's still devoted to his team, which
Like,
and if he, and honestly, if he genuinely is, that's great. Like, I'm not here to begrudge
have
him.
no,
sure, fine.
yeah.
It falls into the similar category for me of like, you know, you'll see these memes that'll say like, oh, this grandmother was able to take on a part-time job to pay for her rent
Yeah.
so she didn't lose her goat farm. And it's like, that's not a positive story.
Mhm.
This makes
That
me
Every
is-
feel bad.
GoFundMe is an awful GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like it's that. I mean, the Ray Rice incident, I think
Yeah.
it was Ray Rice, was the one that really just got me, where you see him like drag his girlfriend by the hair out of an elevator
Jesus
on Las
Christ.
Vegas security footage. And I was like, okay, well, clearly this person won't play football ever again, because that's
No,
like
he's too good
undisputably
at it.
bad. But no, it was like a short term, you can't play. And now, granted, he only played a little bit longer and then fell off and whatever. So like the system
Wait, so
worked it
where is he
out. But
now?
I think he just I honestly, I don't know. He might just be retired.
And I'm also not trying to yeah, I am going to try to humanize them. I think the traumatic brain injuries contribute to this fully.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
And like
Oh, yeah.
cause people to become incredibly violent. So them being put in this place, maybe if they hadn't incurred
Yeah,
so
you
much
got it.
damage, it would thank you so much.
Carrie
It
Ellis.
maybe would have kept God damn it.
Elvis.
It maybe not maybe they wouldn't have become so violent or had violent tendencies. I can't say that wouldn't have happened in general. That could have still happened regardless. But I feel like it's a huge contributing factor. And hearing all the stories of a lot of football players' lives after football, and a
It's
lot
not
of
good.
and a lot of
Oh,
things that
no.
end up happening with the football players. Like I just can't. It is the most upsetting and the saddest stuff. And that's also why I'm like, you only get 150,000. Your life, like this sport ruins you. It ruins
Yeah.
you, and it makes me
Did
so
you-
sad.
Did you see? Okay, so
Same with professional wrestling.
same with professional wrestling. Chris Benoit. Are you familiar with that story?
No.
Yeah, did he die doing some sort of dive? Is that what it
No,
was?
girl, it's way worse than that. So he first of all killed his wife and small son,
Oh, no, that's right.
yeah.
and then
Oh, jeez.
killed
Yeah.
himself in his basement on one of his weight machines. Like he tripped the weights to break his neck. And
Wow.
yeah, they did the autopsy and they were like, whoa, that is CTE. Holy
Yeah.
smokes. They were like, this looks like Alzheimer's of like a 90-year-old. This is so advanced. This is crazy. And that's like so common amongst ex NFL players, not just like violence against others, but an increase in suicidal ideation. And did you read one of the ex NFL players like shot himself in the chest to take his own life? And his suicide note was like, give my brain to science. Like, we need to look at this.
Yeah.
Whoa, what the
Yeah, it's
fuck?
not
And
good.
this seems like I feel like we've only been talking about CTE as a society in the last, I don't know, what would you guys say? 5 to 8 years?
Yeah. It
But they like discovered it in 2002.
Oh,
And we've just been like sitting on it.
Because did you hear how much the Super Bowl made
I know.
in
but
revenue?
I hate it.
It
I'm
doesn't
mad.
matter. This is like you look at stuff like the gladiators in the Coliseum, and you're like, oh, I'm seeing them get ripped apart by tigers and NBD, or like at the time, and you're like, oh, they're barbarians for being okay with seeing that. But we're seeing it just like on a slower scale.
I
yeah. No,
know.
I think that's exactly because it's not just the domestic violence thing. It's the fact that I have a hard time with staying on board with anything where there's irrefutable evidence that there's a problem and no will to do anything about it. And
Yeah.
knowing that the very people who could do something about it keep turning away, right? Like it is
Mhm.
as problematic for the NFL to ignore CTE stuff or just be like, well, we'll just get better helmets. But we'll still allow the system to encourage these guys to be faster and bigger and hit each other harder. And it's like, you know that the rest of the problem here is the brutality of the thing you're doing.
Yeah.
And that it's an exercise in performative violence that doesn't have a good outcome. Like your best
No.
case is that somebody's like leg gets completely folded back the wrong way. But
okay.
otherwise, like, you're just saying like, oh no, these guys can just drive themselves into the ground over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And if somebody gets something dislocated, cool, as long as nobody dies. And then people almost die frequently. Like, I feel like in 1997 or 8, another player for the Buffalo Bills, which was the team whose player had the heart attack from the hit directly to his sternum, was paralyzed in a kickoff. Like, ran down the field, hit a guy, jammed his neck in the collision, and was paralyzed. And they continued that game.
Wait, they made a movie about this, yeah?
They did?
I think they probably did. I don't remember if it's like
Is it Kevin Everett that it happened?
Yeah, it is Kevin Everett.
I'm trying to figure out the name of the movie, if there's a movie.
But like, it comes back to the capitalism thing. It comes back to all these things, right? Like, you can call these things freak accidents, but the fact of the matter is that you have a set of conditions designed to produce this result. And if you don't, you don't even have to say like, hey, we agree that we should stop everything because this bad thing can happen. But you at least have to say like, hey, you know what? There's actually a pattern. And ignoring the pattern is to our cultural detriment. It's to everyone's detriment.
Well, and it's also like, I mean, you mentioned that the NFL is like, okay, well, we'll make better helmets. There is no evidence that helmets protect against like they protect against skull fractures, but it doesn't like stop the concussion.
Yeah. You need a helmet inside your skull, between your brain and the inside of your skull, to stop brain injuries from happening.
Okay, you have to cut that out because we just invited the NFL to like start injecting like the opposite of a spinal tap. We're gonna start like injecting like spray foam into their skull.
This sounds like that egg thing that you do in middle school where you drop it from like a
roof.
We're just doing the egg experiment with people's brains.
Yeah, but I think when you have like Junior Seau was one of my favorite football players when I was a kid. He played linebacker for the San Diego Chargers. He was just like this really admirable player. He seemed like an upstanding person. He killed himself just a few years ago because of CTE. Like, I don't know. I don't understand. And I do understand, because money. It's just money. The finger thing. It's ka-ching, ka-ching. It's all that. But football has become so much the American game, right? Like, it used to be that baseball was America's pastime. I read a really interesting essay a few years back, and I wish I could remember where it was. It might have been like in the New York Times or something. But it's a really compelling thing about how, America's culture shifted away from being a culture where the way we want to spend our time is sitting in a place having a moment, which is what baseball provides. Like, you literally go sit somewhere and very little happens, but when it does, it's very exciting. Right? And
the rest of the time you're eating nachos out of a helmet, and it's
so good.
Yeah. And how we've moved away from helmet nachos to just like constantly being part of some form of combat.
Yeah.
All of the language around football is war language, right? It's about the trenches, it's about penetration, it's about air attacks, it's about ground assault, it's about like, it's all about just like fighting something. And it's weird to me psychologically, because on one hand, I totally get it, because yes, like, I used to love watching a football game. It is fun. It is cool to watch your team win. And when you know what they're doing, when you've played video games about it and you're like, I know what play that is, it's gratifying. But I don't know why we have to be like so excited about violence when it keeps getting worse and worse, right?
Yeah.
And it just makes me think about gun control and capitalism and all these other
God,
things, where it's just like, hey, there's literally just stacks and stacks and stacks of reasons why these things should be dealt with, and we keep going, no, there's still a lot of fun to be had using these things, so we can't look at this.
But it's not even like fun to be had anymore. It's just money. It's just money. It's
money.
always just money.
Right. Yeah. And the argument is fun to be had. The reality is money. Yeah.
And like, I don't want to, and I have such an extreme feeling and such an extreme, I don't know how to describe it, love for moments where communities come together and and share in something. And I think that this Super Bowl and football in general provides it and creates a community. And I'm always for things that create communities. But in the words of Kyle Kinane, unless you're hurting someone, I'm either here to assist or get out of the way. And this is like, football has become something where people just get hurt all the time. And like watching even this one, just seeing people like I have like watching people tackle each other made me like twitch every time, just because I was like, oh, don't be mean.
I know, everybody stop. Can we play flag football instead?
There's no reason we couldn't, really. Like, flag football probably would be just as exciting to watch.
But it's not manly enough.
It's not manly enough. That's the thing, is that this is like so tied up. I feel like the like, yes, it is like war. I kept seeing people associate it with war, and part of that made me think of you know how like dumb dudes in their 20s like totally misunderstand Fight Club. That's sort of how I felt about this. Like, I was reading like historians being like, this is just play acting war, and then like macho dudes being like, yeah, we're fighting. Like, no, that's not. I don't think that you understand that that's a bad thing. And then it made me think of like how we're like, America is constantly like, we're in a forever war, and we're going to be in a forever war forever. And then it made me think of like the dystopian novels that like predict that. And I was like, we're doing it. Like, this is, I mean, to pick a recent one, like, we're watching the Hunger Games right now. Like, this is not good. This is not good. And it's all like, oh man. So I made a face earlier, Nate, when you were like, this first one looks like wholesome, and you know, we've got this American regalia in it. I immediately was like, oh my god, the propaganda was from the beginning.
Oh yeah, like, it's 100%.
Yeah.
It's just I meant it was
propaganda.
Like, this first one is collegiate in a way. Like, it feels the way that if it was a college sports contest, it would have the same kind of stuff. It's not yet fully corporatized, but it is still tied into America's amazing. Look at our amazing stock of young men who are capable of doing these wonderful things to each other for our amusement. Like, it's absurd. I'm gonna wrap up the game real quick because we've got a couple of other segments we need.
Yeah, that's fair.
They play some football. The goalposts are in the front middle of the end zone, which was something that they changed shortly after, because it was really easy to run into that. And you could get really hurt running into a big metal pole.
So we could make changes in 1966, but we can't do them.
Well, I mean, moving the goalposts is one thing. Moving metaphorical goalposts, that's something else. The pretty tight defensive game for football purposes. At halftime, they release an irresponsible number of balloons into the sky, which I clocked as like, oh my god, there was like thousands of balloons going into the sky. Like, that's all going in the ocean.
So many turtles died.
We're still drinking that right now.
These are our microplastics. We found the microplastics.
And Green Bay wins.
By a lot, right? They like slaughtered.
Yeah, they end up taking over in the second half and just demolishing Kansas City. Kansas City's like really good defense in the beginning, and there was some like, oh, this was kind of a game for a little bit, and then clearly but Green Bay had Vince Lombardi was the coach. He, lots of people like to trot out his sayings in business contexts, like winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. The Super Bowl trophy is now called the Lombardi Trophy.
Okay, so that's another thing I wanted to talk about. I think it is so funny that all of these macho dudes are like, we're out here running into each other, giving each other concussions for this pretty little trophy made by Tiffany.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a beautiful football on a pedestal.
Yeah, no, it's cute, but it's jewelry. Like, what? We're giving each other brain damage for this?
They used to have little pendants when it was just right at the beginning of the 1920s. I don't know what they did.
Well, and talk about like outside of the $150K in compensation that the winners get, you get Super Bowl rings, and those are usually like hundreds of thousands of dollars a pop each.
They're like those high school rings, right? Just bigger.
Yeah, they're just huge, like Jostens class rings, but covered with diamonds, and then they usually have the Super Bowl logo and the team logo on them.
Beautiful.
Okay, so you said hundreds of thousands of dollars. Is there an instance where somebody got a Super Bowl ring that is worth more than what they were paid for playing in the Super Bowl?
For playing specifically in the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I think in this, let's see. This says a Super Bowl one ring is worth $100,000.
Oh, in what year?
In this year.
Okay.
Throughout
Okay, so
time.
people are probably making more.
Yeah,
well, if you're the loser, wait, do you get a ring if you don't win the Super
No,
Bowl?
losers don't get rings.
Losers
so like
don't
That's
get
the only
rings.
thing I know.
Losers
Don't get rings. That's probably another Lombardi saying.
How many diamonds are in the 2022
Oh my
Super Bowl
God.
rings? 23 carats of diamonds on the stadium columns represent the 23 points scored in the Super Bowl by the Los Angeles Rams. That was this last year's Super Bowl. And they have there's a little removable top that shows a miniature of the stadium on the inside. Like they go
that's pretty cute.
really big about these.
And then you can get little
Wait,
dolls that you can play in your little stadium ring. You've got your little dollhouse.
Like Polly
ring.
Pockets?
Yeah, you've got Polly Pockets.
Yeah, but so like they're getting
Rachels? I don't
30
know how to...
Ringy Rachel.
Yeah.
Sounds like she needs antibiotics. It's so $30 to $50,000 is pretty much what the rings go for. So you're talking about a roster of 40 people on the winning team who all get a ring. So whatever 40 times 30,000 is, that's an amount of money that's going out just for winning the game. And then several players have in the past like sold their rings because they hit hard times because it turns out that a lot of them didn't make enough money.
Can I ask you a question? Did you just go over the fact that Jostens was the one who did 37 out of the 55 rings?
Oh,
the one who makes the high school rings?
I love it that I guess
the same company.
Because I said
I was like,
Jostens, but I was making a joke.
No, you were right. 100% right.
Broken clocks.
They also make the ring. Great job.
Speaking of great jobs, how about we play a game?
Wait, hold on. I have one more. I've got one more thing.
Yeah.
I've got to talk about it. So I was looking at what else happened in 1966, and guess what? Guess what it was? Guess what happened? The first Mothman sightings. The first Mothman sightings occurred in 1966, and the bridge collapse in Point Pleasant, Pennsylvania. Mothman, the Mothman story. And I just feel like Mothman is like the antithesis of football and the Super Bowl. Like, I feel like 1966 was like two roads diverged in a wood, and some people
went
like
Mothman
really into like war and violence, and they're the Super Bowl fans. And then some people like love an outcast, love a weirdo, love like finding community, and they're the Mothman people. And I'm personally a Mothman person. I'm Mothman all the way. Team Mothman.
Oh yeah. I also consider myself a Mothman person.
Yeah,
I mean, I was a football person for a while, but it's part of the cultural zeitgeist. Like if you're raised in a family that watches football, like you learn football.
Oh, not me.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
but I take your point.
Well, yeah, I mean, also like whatever. Yeah.
I asked my family for tips on how to talk about football. They could not give me any. They were like, good luck. Let's see how you come out of this. And I came out the same. Except I did for a little bit remember the name of the guy who didn't get an MVP, but he did everything and he was the best. And it was the best game he ever played. And I was like, you know what? This guy is Sean Astin? Is that a different movie?
No, yeah. Rudy and Sean Astin. Yeah.
But yeah, there was one guy in the and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna remember his name. Sorry, guy.
Aw, guy. We're not even gonna look you up.
He's cool. He's like,
I will, but you guys don't want to hear me type. So I'm not gonna look him up. I wanted to keep his name forever to be like the forgotten guy who did it all, who won the game, and no one remembers him.
and including us.
They
Yeah.
might. Someone surely remembers that person.
He was great. Someone's yelling at the podcast if they didn't already leave after we talked about how upset we were about football.
I think they know what to expect at this point.
Tweet at us at Debut Buddies.
I think ultimately the remarkable thing about this is that very little has changed. I thought that this would be like, other than the fact that the halftime show was just a marching band and an irresponsible number of balloons, the product was pretty much the same, right?
Yeah.
The way the product is presented has gotten improved over time to make it more immediate, to make it feel like you're there. I think there's a lot of immersive stuff that happens now that ultimately, as all immersion does in entertainment, misleads people into thinking they're experiencing enough so that they don't understand what the actual experience is. I think that's, it's very easy to be like, oh, war is cool because I watched people do war from first-person GoPros on the news. And it's like, no, actually being there is very different than the thing that you think that you're doing from your couch. But
oh God, I feel like we could talk another hour about that.
Yeah, I've got more to talk about. Let's play games. Then
we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back to that another time. But yeah, really great. Super Bowl one. Let's have easily 56 more. It's time to play I See What You Did There.
Yay!
All these I See What You Did There. That was great.
Thanks. I've been practicing.
That was standard to above standard level of enthusiasm. These are all going to be football / Super Bowl one related. So get ready. And as we have now started doing, you're both going to work together on this. So there's no reason for me to keep score. It's just a matter of having fun.
So this is the opposite of football. We're a co-op. We're doing this together.
This
is the future of America.
I do appreciate that, like, Nate got sick of watching us struggle so hard.
And then help each other.
No, I want you to enjoy it because I like doing it. And if you get burnt out and hate me for it, then it goes away. Or maybe the whole podcast doesn't. I can't have that. No. Number one, Green Bay's quarterback for Super Bowl one is beamed up to the Enterprise to take over for Captain Picard.
So also something that happened in 1966 is Star Trek premiered.
Hey.
Oh.
Yeah, big year.
That's fun because I didn't even know that, but Kismet, there's a little bit of
synchronicity.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
Oh, wait, I do have another synchronicity. Sorry if you want to cut this out. Something else that happened in 1966 is the author Mark Z. Danielewski, who wrote that book House of Leaves. He was born that year. And this week, Chelsea and I are recording an episode on
Kevin Bacon.
What is it? You should have left. You should have left, a Kevin Bacon horror movie over on our other show, Never Show the Monster, which is also about a crazy house. And comparisons have been drawn between those. So another synchronicity. It's a big week.
Hell yeah.
Big week for synchronicities. And I'm really just talking because I don't know. I was hoping Chelsea.
Yeah, no, Kirk.
Is it see what you did there.
I don't know. You know Star Trek better or something.
Well, Picard. Kirk is pre-Picard.
Yeah, because he gets beamed up and then Picard. Who happens before Picard? Kirk, then someone else.
Well, but if he took over for Picard, he would be after Picard.
Yeah. Oh shit!
But I don't know who came after Picard.
Well, okay. You don't have to say who's after Picard. You need the name of the football player, the quarterback for the Packers.
Yeah, that's not going to happen for either.
Feel free to look it up if you want to.
Okay.
It's now
the quarterback for the Packers in Super Bowl one.
Okay.
Takes over for Captain Picard. So I'm just looking for a before and after with those two things. It might be more obvious once you know the name of the quarterback.
Yeah, it's going to be like Wesley Crusher.
Really, that's a good football player name.
It is.
Wesley Crusher.
Bart Starr?
Okay, Bart Starr.
Yeah, okay.
Star Trek?
Bart Star Trek?
Wars. Bart Star Trek.
Which iteration? Which iteration of Star
Trek? The next gen?
Next gen.
Yeah.
Oration?
Put it all together.
After that, Bart Star Trek The Next Generation.
You see what I did there?
Oh, that was
certain what I
difficult. Thanks for letting us Google. We phoned a friend. It was the internet.
The Green Bay Packers quarterback is beamed up to take over for Captain Picard on the Enterprise. Bart Star Trek The Next Generation.
That makes a lot more sense now that I understand it. Okay, I'm there.
Okay.
Now we see what you did there.
It's madness, but there's a method.
Mm-hmm,
All right, number two. Number two. The rest of the world adds this qualifier when talking about our version of football. So connect that word to the restless spirit that haunts Chicago's Cabrini Green in a film series.
Candyman. Wait. Okay. What was the first part? American Candyman? Wait. American. Say the first part.
Yeah. The rest of the world adds this qualifier when talking about our version of football.
Yeah, it's American, right?
Uh-huh. So just put the two words together.
American Candyman? American Candyman.
Candyman. You see what I did there? Very good.
I think I forgot what we
That
were
was a ridiculous one. That was ridiculous.
Candyman.
For the home listener, Nate was looking at us
like we should have fucking known.
like we were the dumbest people.
Which is fair.
I'm doing like the rolling fingers, like, come on, put it together, wrap it up, let's go.
You can do it.
All right. You're doing great. 2 for 2. Number three. If you put $2 into a $1.75 soda machine, you receive blank. And you can use it to call someone who cares to explain how to save your data in a secondary location. So you put $2 into a $1.75 soda machine. You get this back. You get this.
Okay.
Yeah, I got that.
And you can use it to call someone who cares to explain how to save your data in a secondary location.
A quarter backup?
You see what I did there?
Oh my God. Chelsea, that was so good.
I'm really happy about that one.
Quarter backpack? Quarterback external. I was
still
in trouble there.
I was still stuck on Star Trek, so you were like Data, and I was like Lorne.
All right, 3 for 3. We're going into number 4. We're feeling good, feeling real good. Fourth quarter.
Did I do a football thing?
You did a football.
Yay!
Number 4. The Green Bay Packers are named for this kind of food business at which the employees likely made this food euphemism for small money. It's a food euphemism that elephants might work for.
Peanuts.
Meat packing peanuts.
Oh, yeah, that's better.
Meat packing peanuts. You see what I did there? Yeah.
Meat peanuts? That sounds so gross.
I mean, I was throwing stuff at the wall to see what would stick.
Hey, babe, go down to the store and get me some meat peanuts.
Ew.
Terrible.
I bet we grow those in a lab somewhere.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you probably get meat peanuts at a Whole Foods or something because that's exactly the sort of...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They've been biohacked for ample nutrition.
Ugh.
That's fair. I'll try it.
Finally.
Have some chickpeas.
The protein of steak combined with peanut butter.
Oh, wait. So should we just call chickpeas meat peanuts? Any beans?
Wait,
beans are meat peanuts.
Beans are meat peanuts.
True.
All right. If you take anything away from this episode, just take away that beans are meat peanuts.
Yeah, that's really all this has been about the whole time.
We're
you see what I
America's
did
problems.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
All right, mouth guard report? Do we have any mouth guard reports?
The mouth guard report. Open wide.
I still haven't done my mouth. thing, and then they sent me an email saying my card was out of date. I don't think it was, but I think I'm going to change to Remy because they didn't give me a return label, and I've given up on putting in any effort. Oh, I feel
Take that,
bad.
cheeky.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's an anti-ad.
Yeah, if you want to sponsor
Unless they
the
want to
podcast.
sponsor us, then we can erase this
Yeah,
in the past and put fully behind it.
we're playing hardball now, Cheeky.
Yeah.
Unless you want to
Yep.
give us an advertising deal, we're going to tell people you suck because we actually had a bad experience.
Amen.
I feel like we could
Have
do
you
like
gotten any updated? You got an updated. Did you get an updated retainer ever from Cheeky or just the original?
Oh, I still just have 2 that they sent me because they sent me 2 for some reason in the first
Oh.
place. I don't know
I don't
why.
think that Cheeky
That's not
knows
fair.
what they're doing. I'm really only
I
hearing
don't think
mistakes.
they do. Yeah.
I mean, the one
that's
I use
true.
is actually okay. It's been fine for me, but
I still use mine, and
yeah.
it's like 7 months old.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
microplasticking every night.
sure. I mean, but look, water and breathing, it's happening
It's
no
all
matter
fine.
what.
It's all
That's
fine.
true. That's
You know.
true.
Have you used
Existing.
a Teflon pan at any point in your life? You are full of
Are
plastic.
dying.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We're all sick because we're coated with Teflon and no nutrients can stay in our bodies.
That's fine.
Damn,
That makes
probably
sense.
True.
Smash that subscribe button for more facts.
This has been a real upper. This one. Kelly, how are your teeth?
I can't remember if I told you this, but I did get a replacement mouth guard after I chewed off the back of my previous one. Got the new one, immediately chewed off the back of the new one. So I guess I'm gonna sue my dentist. No, he gave this
Yeah, should we
to me
get
for free.
creative? Should we solve the world's problems? Because everyone sees it as mouth guards. Why aren't we solving problems? We're the
Yeah.
smartest people.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think the question is why we're trying to just band-aid a symptom of the problem,
Yeah.
which is like
Yeah,
we're
we
all
should
really
just
stressed
pull
out.
out
Be
Oh,
like my
geez, I'm
grinding our
dentist who
teeth.
told me to go to a therapist.
Oh,
Yeah,
course.
yeah. Like no, I'm saying like
Easy.
let's not the therapy thing either. We solved the problem of the culture that is causing this amount of anxiety.
Okay, so let's just
get rid of
casually
football.
solve capitalism.
yeah. That's what I'm saying.
We can do it.
Just
we can do it.
you know, a general strike here, a casual
We're a
revolt
think
there.
tank.
Yeah. I don't see why we
Hmm.
couldn't be. I'm sure we can apply for
What do
money
we
from
wear
somebody.
to a casual revolt?
I think it's
Overalls.
Black bloc?
like black block overalls. That's correct. That's what we're doing.
The do you
Scream
know what I'm talking about? Close, very close. ICP, the face paint,
Oh,
which like scrambles the.
we're gonna be juggalos.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we're gonna be
yeah.
juggalos.
Not juggalos specifically, but that cool face paint that keeps you from being identified.
I mean, I don't
Facial
see why it can't be
recognition
both.
Well, that's probably true. Sir, I don't know what's going on, but there are several members of Insane Clown Posse gathering. They all seem to know how magnets work, though. It's strange.
I thought their whole thing was that they didn't know.
Hmm.
Also, they are littering their Fago containers.
Yeah. Microplastics. We brought it around.
Microplastics.
We brought it around. The only mouth guard thing I have is actually a Garf thing, which is that I discovered that they released a third Nickelodeon racer game
Oh,
Whoa.
that
Wait.
Garfield is in now.
okay.
I think
Is
I
this
might
something we
have
could
that one.
guess?
I think I have that one.
You have the
Oh.
third one? Like the
On-
Slime Racer 3?
Oh, never mind.
Because this
No,
okay.
because
Slime
once you
Racer
called
3?
it that
Yeah.
name,
Yeah, because Nickelodeon
Wait,
had all the
what-
sliming related content,
of
remember?
course.
So that's what it's about.
Of course. I
Um,
was thinking Slimer
Right.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
Slime.
Onion Head.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, but what I might pick this up, especially when it goes on sale, mainly because there's voice acting in the game now. So all of your beloved Nickelodeon characters actually talk and express
Oh.
astonishment at the activity you're putting them through.
Is it the actors or is it
Yeah. It's
Video
actually
game
like,
actors.
I mean, I'm sure some of it's like deep faked clips or whatever, but
Mhm.
you know, it's the actual people, it's the actual voices, and apparently the controls are customizable, which also
That was
lights me
the whole
up.
thing about.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I want to
fair.
I want to get to be drifting. I want to be Garfield drifting
You got to be
against
Tokyo
Tommy
Garfield
Pickles.
drifting.
Yeah. I want to run Tommy Pickles into the rail.
Whoa.
No.
Let's
We
not
don't
be mean.
we don't need to get
We got
into
so sad.
Angelica's
We're like,
creepypasta thing.
This is why Nate liked football. He's got
Yeah.
bloodlust.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. The only way you get in teeth is with a little bit of blood. That was the Mouth Guard Report.
The Mouth Guard Report. Open wide.
We gotta get you a vacuum sealer to
Ooh,
seal
yeah.
up your teeth.
Oh man, just each
Can we
individual
rent
one.
or
Each
Stimpy?
individual.
Yeah. It's great. There's a lot of cool stuff. Several Ninja Turtles because Nickelodeon owns them too. It could be fun.
Arnold, you can be Arnold.
Oh
Hey!
hell
Be
yeah!
Arnold.
Can I just?
Anyway.
He's got a football-shaped head. It's all
That's
coming
interesting.
together. It's all coming together. This is one of the most
Okay.
professional
Coming together.
podcasts we have ever done.
I mean, we got super serious up top, so
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I meant that sincerely. Like we have really
I was like,
we have hit
I was like,
all
we
these
kept it a little
notes.
together.
We've hit all these
Oh,
notes. We're
boy.
doing
We've come
we're doing
around.
amazing fucking work. Let's
Yep.
talk Debs for Super Bowl 1.
Debs, boy. What are okay?
Okay, I will say 1 Deb for what it becomes in the future, 4 Debs for my enjoyment of it existing in the first place because I love community stuff. And I'm going to use that to just talk. No, I want to go on a rant about how children in sports, and I can't do that because we don't have time now. So
Oh god, but I will
we'll have
say
to
if
do
you've
the
got a
first
high
children in
schooler
sports
playing
later.
football, they are also getting CTE. The stats are
For
not
sure.
good. It's really not good.
But that's
Google
not
them.
what I was going to rant on, but that is a good point. Very good point.
The number of people I know who like professional football but say I would never let my kid play football. And it's like,
Then come
Mm.
on.
I mean, there is a real functional incongruence there.
God.
Yeah. So you're giving it a 1 and a 4, a longitudinal 1 and a
Instantaneous.
in the moment
4.
1 or in the moment 4. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we'll weigh the 1 heavier.
Yeah.
and we'll say
Yeah.
a 2. We'll say
Yeah.
a 2. We'll say a 2.
I think okay. Overall 2. I mean, I lean there with you. The sort of cultural destruction of this combined with the community thing, plus the jetpacks are really fun.
The
They are
jetpacks
fucking
and
great.
the fashions are
Yeah.
really
Yeah, they
There's
are
a lot
great.
of
They are
great
great.
stuff happening in 1967 at the LA
Can we just
Coliseum.
redo the first 1967? And just talk about how we love
Okay.
the year but hate the football. Okay.
Oh yeah, just go back in January 1. Ooh, we could just do
Yeah.
an entire series on January 1s of
January
year.
1s. That sounds great.
We'll just
Man,
read.
a bunch of other stuff happened in 1966. Do you want to hear some of them?
I want to hear
Let's
what
hit
you
it.
rate
Is
the
this
Deb.
is this gonna be like Billy
What your
Joel?
Deb
I'm
is.
working on it. Yeah, I'm gonna Billy Joel it.
Okay.
1960s. I can't. I don't
Oh,
know.
I'm so excited.
No, okay. That's the year that John Lennon said the Beatles are bigger than Jesus.
Great.
Ooh.
The Church of Satan is formed by Anton
Okay. Great.
The Supreme Court rules that you have to do the Miranda rights.
Oh, great.
Oh, good year for
uh,
that.
A mass murderer, Richard Speck, kills all those nurses.
Oh, that's
Not
good
as
year.
great.
Charles Whitman, the UT Austin sniper,
Oh,
does the sniping. They break
sniper
ground.
no sniping?
Well, he did
Yeah.
not listen to that. He went full snipe.
Snipe.
There was a really
Mm.
good there's a really good like rotoscope animated film of that uses some documentary footage.
Oh.
I would recommend it very much. I can't remember what it's called, but it might be just called Tower or something like that.
Okay.
It is a really good film to watch. It's not a horror movie. It's not Never Show the
Yeah.
Monster material, but it's really interesting to
I wish
see.
you hadn't have said that
Hmm.
and also said sniper no sniping because then I pictured it being like in the form of Dora, like the documentary.
The
Oh.
rotoscope
Just like-
thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
It's Dora animated.
I was like, No, this is not good. That's making something too light. How
Yeah.
dare they?
Yeah, no, we're crossing lines.
Also Jeffrey Dean Morgan was born that year.
It's the perfect year.
Wow.
And the worst year. That was a lot of
And
bad
the worst.
stuff.
There's some bad stuff also. I don't know how many Debs. What am I grading it against? 5 out of 5 in terms of capitalism.
Mm.
Yeah, I guess I'll also give it a 2, one for each guy in a jetpack.
Great.
Mm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would give it for the pigeons, but then the balloons counteracted the pigeons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, how many of those pigeons do you think were killed by one of those balloons? Like literally, how many do you think we canceled out?
At least like 250, I would guess.
How many of the pigeons do you
Yeah.
think pooped on them when they were released?
Oh, all 4,000.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because that
Yeah.
sounds great.
Look, you're an animal. You've been held captive against your will, and then you were released into
A coliseum.
Yeah.
A coliseum.
a bowl of people screaming.
Couldn't
And
have
yeah,
gone better.
I think I would evacuate my cloaca under those circumstances too.
Yeah, I would not be stoked, I don't think.
Mm. Yeah. I'll give it a 3.
Oh, now the
It's
pigeon
the-
shit's in the equation.
It's
Pigeon
that
shit.
bird shit
That's
bump.
what it does. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, hey, that was the first Super Bowl. That was the first Super Bowl. On our
It
next
was all downhill from
episode,
there. Sorry, go on.
yeah, downhill runners. On our next episode, we're going to be talking about the first single with Profanity in the title of the song to break the top 40 in the United Kingdom. That is "Too Drunk to Fuck" by the Dead Kennedys.
So excited.
Get ready.
Yep.
Get ready for
So
this
excited.
amount of time on one song, people. It's gonna be real
We can
good.
do it.
Yeah.
can do it.
We're gonna do it.
We can do it.
We've got
I could have
we've got
done
plenty of
2
stories.
hours.
I'm sure we've all got stories about trying to fuck while we're drunk and how it's too drunk to do so.
Oh Lord, do I? Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great show. If you like this podcast, listeners, please subscribe, rate, and review us. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. 5 stars, okay? People
All 5.
won't know that we're here. If you all give us 5 stars, like tomorrow after you listen to this, we could trend to maybe like the bottom 800 of podcasts, but literally 20 to 30 million more people would know that we exist than do now.
Yeah.
That would be dope. And all you have to
Send
do is give
help.
us 5 stars, and you could literally write in "send help." This could be-
Yes, please.
you could use your 5-star review to escape a bad relationship or
Yep.
imprisonment by foreign power.
Yep. You could also use the special word from this episode, which was cloaca. Go ahead and leave that in the review.
Yeah. Now remember, a cloaca is an orifice that a bird uses both to lay eggs and to pee and poop and to
Yep.
have sexual intercourse.
One hole, baby. Efficiency.
That's right. You got to keep it light. You're flying. You don't have room for all those extra holes.
Collarbones. One hole. Oh, yeah. 5 stars.
You broke me. Yeah, review this show. If you like science fiction books, check out Spaceboy Books, read spaceboy.com. If you like the theme music, all the tunes in this show were written by Michael J. O'Connor. Go to michaeljo'connor.bandcamp.com. I believe that he has at least 6 holes.
Are we counting piercings?
Oh, I was just talking like
The normal ones.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Regular old orify.
Traditional. And if you like horror movies and me and Chelsea, come listen to us
Or
over
Kevin
on
Bacon.
Never Show the Monster or Kevin Bacon.
And or
yeah, another podcast, horror movies. You can find us where you get your podcasts, where you're listening to this one right now. Yeah,
It's good. It's good, people. It's a good program. You should listen to it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I miss it. I want to listen to more of it. And I probably have by the time this airs. So shut me up.
Hopefully, if things are going well, we're back in full steam.
We're back. Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. So Too Drunk to Fuck on our next episode. And this was an American football
Very American.
pugilism match of brutality that we broke down in exacting detail.
We didn't even talk about how pugilism was the
We had so much
start
more
of
to
CTE.
say.
Yeah, I've got a lot more, but
We'll have a part 2 at some time. Our
next
first
year, part 2, Super Bowl 1, part 2, our
Yeah.
first sequel.
Oh no.
Hell yeah. Buddies.
Bye, buddy.
Bye.